What's good, guys? It's me, Gerald the Weep here, back again with another video. Okay, I said I was going to promise someone to make my JoJo part with rezero. I'm gonna do another part. Maybe it'll be Asta part. Next time I make a video, it depends. Just gotta tell me in the comments. Anyway, I'm just gonna get straight into the video. This is part 5 of What If Jotaro Went to rezero. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Leave a like. Um, It's up to you if you guys want to subscribe or not. I already made my goal, and I'm already happy with where I'm at. Thanks to you guys. And yeah, so let's keep going. Okay, now, last time where we left off, Jotaro was, going into the... Okay, how do I say this? Okay, he was with Amelia, and Jotaro was, like, basically going into the trials with her, just like Subaru would. And Jotaro, then gets as Jotaro enters inside the first trial to face his past. He sees Iggy, Abdul, Polnareff, and Kakyomi, but he doesn't see the old man or Joseph Joestar. He says, "What are you guys doing here? How are you guys even here? I know she said the trials will be the past, the future, and the unthinkable present, but I don't understand this." And Jotaro says, "What? You guys are dead." And Polnareff and Iggy jumps on Polnareff's head, and then Polnareff says, "What are you talking about? We killed Dio years ago. We're not dead. Come on, it's about to be 1999. You should already know this." And Jotaro says, 1999. And he then says, "Then where's Jolene then?" And Abdul says, "She's with your wife." And Jotaro says, "This doesn't make any sense. 1999? She was just born. It's not a couple of years ago. This doesn't make any sense. How am I in the future? What is this?" And Kakyoin says, "You need to go and sit down, because you're acting a little strange." And Jotaro says, "I'm not acting strange." And he says, "I'm just going back to my..." And then he looks around and he says, What is this place?" And he doesn't know what place he's in. He's basically in part 4, basically. And he hasn't met Josuke yet. So when Josuke shows up, he doesn't know who this guy is. And yeah, Josuke shows up and he says, "Thank you for helping me deal with that Kira person, Jotaro." And Jotaro's like, "What are you on about? What do you mean? How? I don't even know you. Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Josuke Higashikata." I said it so wrong. Josuke Higashikata. Oh my goodness, I said it so badly. Sorry. And Jotaro's was like, and he like slays down and he says, I don't know what to think of this. Am I really stuck? I don't mind this place." But then he starts to remember Subaru, and he says, "You guys are all gone. I need to face that." And he walks over to Polnareff, and he says, "I don't know why your legs are like that, but when I get out of Lagunica, I'll come to find you." And he says, "Just Josuke person. I don't know who you are, but if I am able to help you, I'll help you when I get out of Lagunica." And everyone's looking at him strange. And he walks over to Abdul and Kakyomi, and he pats them on the shoulder, and he says, "Don't worry. I haven't forgotten you. You guys are very precious to me. I will cherish you guys for the rest of my life. I'll make sure. I promise." And they all look at Jotaro super weird because they never seen this side of him. And he says, "I already see where I need to go. I'll be coming back here soon." And he's basically saying goodbye. And he says, "Goodbye for now." And he walks right past Kakyomi and Abdul, and they try to stop him, but he keeps walking towards this light. And he sees on the horizon his mother and Joseph. And he says, I'm going back to where I belong. As he walks through the gleaming light, he goes through all of his adventures through the past. And then he wakes up. And he sees that Amelia is still not woken up yet. And he says, I thought something else was going to happen. Why hasn't the other trial started? And Jotaro walks outside, and he sees that Otto and Garfield are still there. And I'm pretty sure I left Ram and Rem at the mansion, because I rewatched my video, I didn't talk about them. And Jotaro says he sees something from the very far. He says, what is that? You guys don't see that? And Garfield and oh my goodness, Otto were like, what are you talking about? I see that. You don't see it. How don't you not see it? Those rabbits. And they sing, rabbits. What are you on about? And they hear laughing coming from the distance. And it sounds like Subaru that's laughing. And Jotaro looks a little bit more closer with his stand, and he says, yeah, it's Subaru. How's he awake? He's supposed to be still asleep. He should have been unconscious. And Garfield says, well, he's with the witch cultists. We need to defeat him. And Otto's like, yeah, I don't remember him being able to do that. I only seen him one time, but geez, this man's scary. And Garfield says, Jotaro, come and help me. And he says, I think this is maybe one of the other trials. And Garfield slaps him and he says, this ain't no trial. We need to hurry up and get rid of Subaru. And Jotaro says, fine. As the rabbits start to go on to the village, Otto grabs everyone that he can, and he tries to wake up Amelia, but Amelia wakes up screaming, and Jotaro doesn't have time to go and see what happens to her, because Subaru is now waking up. And Subaru then finds Jotaro, and he says this to him. Yeah, Subaru says this. Okay, I'm sorry for the bad edits. I'm so sorry. He says, because the picture wouldn't pop in, so sorry, it might look a little weird, so sorry about that. Anyway, Subaru says, I'm so hungry. I don't know what's with these rabbits, but I eat more and more of them, but they keep coming back. I don't understand it. And he says, I can control them also. What do you think I should do? I ran away with them because it looks like they were coming here. And Subaru's basically this isn't the same Subaru's Jotaro knows. And he says, call those rabbits off. They're starting to eat everything. And they're starting to try to attack Jotaro. And Subaru stops those rabbits and he says, listen here, come to me. And he looks them, and he looks every single one of them that is in his vicinity. And he says, come now. Let me eat. And he starts eating all of the rabbits that are around him. He's starting to nibble and break their necks. And Jotaro is seeing this, and he says, that is so he says this is so nasty in his head, but he says, why are you being such a weirdo to Subaru? And he says, you left me to die. You said you would protect me, but that woman was always there. And Jotaro doesn't know what he's talking about. Basically Subaru, while he was in that comatose state, had went through one of the what ifs he went through the what if of gluttony. Like when I started the first part, he was basically going through what was it called? Was it envy? No, it wasn't envy. What was it? Oh, slothful. On the first route he took, he was slothful. He decided to basically run away with Rem, and when he died, he went back from zero. And then he decided to figure out to get more help so he can become stronger. Then he finds Jotaro and figures out how to get to recruit him. But after Subaru passes out, this Subaru, after basically, I'm just changing it up a little bit. Since Subaru went into that coma, he never went to out seek anyone. So the normal timeline basically happens until he gets stuck into a tower, which happens in season 3, and he basically goes crazy with hunger, and he becomes the greed, becomes a part of the greed. What if? And yes, and he doesn't. He was wondering what happened to Jotaro and why he couldn't call him anymore. So yeah. So basically, after this, he should be able to go back to normal after Jotaro defeats him, or he gets that greed, not greed, gluttony out of him. And he says, "I already killed that person that did this to me, but I'm not satisfied. I don't know. Can you please help me?" As he's doing this as he's eating basically eating those rabbits, and all of the people in the village are running away from him. And Amelia is finally starting to calm down, and she also sees the rabbits and starts attacking all of them. And she says, "What is going on?" And she's she had to run there and see Garfield is also punching them while Subaru is keeping them occupied. And Subaru says, "Oh, Amelia, you're so..." Ignore that. It's just my water bottle. Anyway, he says, "Amelia, you are so tasty. Can I have more food?" And he says, "Garfield was tasty too. Otto was too. He should be here. I remember everything." And he says, "I remember the..." He stops himself and he says, "That didn't happen this time around. I'm very confused on my emotions with you, Amelia. And Rem. I went with you, and now that didn't work out, and also with Rem. That didn't work out. So what's the point? Maybe I should just leave." That's what I'm starting to think. And he starts to get more hungrier and hungrier. And Jotaro was like, "The rabbits are starting to attack us again." And yeah, Jotaro then uses the world, and he goes next to Subaru, and he says, "Okay." And he uses hormone to go try to get inside of his body to see what's going on with him. He's still basically unconscious. He doesn't know who this guy is. This isn't the Subaru, like I said, this isn't the Subaru he knows. And Subaru then starts to move in the time stop. And he grabs Jotaro's arm. And Jotaro was like, "I'm running out of time. I'll just knock him out for now." And Jotaro, ora, 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 ora. Okay, I need to chill. Okay, he orders Subaru until he gets knocked out, basically. And the rest of them, since there wasn't that many rabbits spawned in because they came a lot earlier, they were able to mostly stop the rabbits without Beatrice's help. And Jotaro was there to mostly kill them. And Subaru was controlling them, so he wasn't allowing them to attack them. And yeah, Jotaro knocks him out again. And as Subaru is falling out, he says, "Stay away." And he says Ekidona, but only Jotaro could hear him. And yeah, Subaru passes out again. And everyone in the village was now scared of Subaru. And Amelia was afraid of Subaru a little bit too because he was with the rabbits. And she doesn't remember her past because I forgot what happened with it. I think she had to Puck put a blocker on her past or something, so she wouldn't have to face it. But she feels something ominous about these rabbits and how they have something to do with something terrible. No, I thought I heard something. Anyway, so Subaru is basically knocked out again, and Jotaro says, "Why do I need to stay away from that woman? And what was with these rabbits?" And Garfield then explains these are a part of the Archbishop of Gluttony, Daphne. And Amelia says, I don't know why this Subaru person would be a part of it. And she still didn't remember Subaru, even though he woke up. But she says she can kind of remember this person. She remembers meeting this person in an alley. And Jotaro, you were there after him, I think. And Jotaro says, so you do remember him. And she says, only it's faint. And Jotaro says, so every time he wakes up, I guess you will gain back your memory. And Jotaro says, we'll leave him here. Otto can deal with. Otto can deal. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for stopping all the time because I keep hearing stuff. Okay, so Otto then gets out and he's shivering like crazy, and Jotaro throws him at Subaru and he says, he said he knew you pretty well when he was speaking, so I don't know. Maybe you guys were friends at one time. And Otto says, I never met this person in my life. And Jotaro says, okay, I need to stop lying to you guys. This isn't... Well, she can't affect me like she does with Subaru. But this isn't his first rodeo, I would say. And everyone was like, what do you mean, his first rodeo? And Satella's hands start to pop out of Subaru's body. And Jotaro jumps away and he says, basically, this isn't his first time doing this. That's all I'm saying. And Tatella then attacks Jotaro's heart, tries to attack his heart. And Jotaro stops it and falls to the ground. And everyone was shaking like that Satella's hand just popped out of Subaru. And Jotaro says, ha, faked it. He did the old heart trick with Dio. And Satella retracts her hands. And everyone's like, so we've died before? And he says, let's get away from Subaru's body and then speak about this later. And yeah, Satella could only attack that one time to try to stop him. But Johto then goes in and explaining, he says, with this Subaru, I don't know, this Subaru was a lot different. I think he was possessed with other archbishops. Because when I first found out about him, he was talking about Rem. It said like he was maybe familiar with Rem before I even knew them. He talked about his family with her or something. I think you guys originally died in the original timeline where he comes from. And Amelia says, I originally died? To who? And Jotaro says, to the Archbishop. Betelgeuse, I think. It seems like he probably got to you. And Subaru couldn't do anything about it. He wasn't strong enough. And Amelia says, I just can't wrap my head all behind this. Why would he go back and try to redo everything if he knows we're going to die? And Garfield doesn't believe this, and he says, Garfield, he talked about you, but he never knew your name. Don't you think that's suspicious? And Garfield's like, yeah, that is suspicious. Never. And he then, because he was yelling at Jotaro, but he doesn't. He's now convinced, like Subaru does know something about them. And he says, I think this timeline, he was the only one that came, and I think I can just make a theory. He basically was able to save you, and be able to get you all guys out of the sanctuary. And then he runs into this tower, and he says he went crazy and became hungry, and he was looking for someone, her. I don't know if it was you or someone else. That's all he said. I'm still confused myself. But we need to figure out how to make him stay awake so he can tell us, or he might be able to get possessed by one of the witches, and we don't want him getting possessed by Satella. You saw how those hands were coming out. I think the witches can maybe possess him, or something, or maybe the powers of the archbishops can. And Subaru says He said he also killed that gluttony dude. I still don't understand what was going on with that. And he says, maybe we should go back to the mansion. And Garfield says, we're going back to the mansion. Amelia should stay here and continue the trials. And yeah, Subaru is still knocked out, and like they after they were done speaking, they brought him into a room with around Roswell. Roswell finally came here, and he says, yeah, Subaru like he had to fly there because he didn't get injured in this timeline, so he flies there and tries to warn everyone about the rabbits coming. And he says, I was barely able to hold them off. And the manor was destroyed pretty badly because of the rabbits. And Rem and Rom were in bad conditions when I was fighting off the rabbits. And Jotaro says, well, I guess we don't have to. Okay, so basically, yeah, it was as those couple of minutes were happening, Roswell was basically flying over there when they were talking. So that's how they know they don't need to go back to the mansion. And yeah, Roswell says, I also had a talk with my good old friend. Like he also was talking with Beatrice, and they actually figure out that there's something going on, and they just need to figure out how to stop these rabbits from coming because they don't know if there's going to be any more rabbits. But they basically stopped the rabbits because they stopped them pretty early, but they don't know. But Jotaro says, I think we should continue with the trials then, Amelia, if Roswell has everything handled. And Roswell says, the only reason I have everything handled is because you don't make any sense. You and this Subaru person. Subaru. Oh yes, that person that moved into my manor. And he starts to remember too, but he says, what are these false memories? And he says, you remember him too. You you put me out, and you only allowed him to stay. I'm pretty sure I kicked out Jotaro, and he only stayed in the village while Subaru was in the manor. Or was that with Madara? I can't remember. I'm sorry if it's like a bad edit. I'll edit myself out if you guys tell me if I got that wrong. Anyway, so Subaru yeah, is like still knocked out, and he's going to get possessed by another archbishop that's dead. Yeah, basically Regulus. But you'll figure that out a little bit later. Anyway, so basically, Jotaro goes back into he goes back into the trials, and Amelia goes in there with him, and she says, I can't even get past the first part. What do you think I should do? And Jotaro says, death is always hard. I know you probably faced death when you were younger in your past, but if you're able to face it, use all the confidence that everyone that's given you the strength to get here to this day, to get past it. I believe in you too. And he says, that was too cheesy. I'm going to sleep now. And he passes out again. And Jotaro then wakes up into another reality. He's back in Japan. And as Jotaro wakes up, he says, this is other Jotaro, or older Jotaro says, you're not in Japan. You're in a prison, Jotaro. And he looks at himself and he says, what the? He looks at his older self and he says, what? Why am I here? What? And he looks around and he sees discs coming out of his older self. And he says, what the? Is that a stand? And he sees White Snake coming after him. And he says, why can't my stand work? And he tries to use Star Platinum, but it doesn't work. And he starts running away. And someone grabs him and he says, let go of me. My stand's not working. And he can't see this face of this person. He sees that this person has blonde hair and says, come on, stop acting. How about you act like a father for once? And he says, Father, I have been in my daughter's life for all for for mostly all of her life. What are you on about? And she says, stop lying. You left me at 14. And Jotaro said he can't really pull off his grip off of Jolene because Jolene put her string all around Jotaro. And he says, what is this? You can't be Jolene. Why would you be in prison? And he then sees White Snake with a gun. And he says, what the? Let go of me. Jolene, let go. Attack him with that stand with your string. He can still see her stand ability. He thinks it's string, and she says, "No, I wanted to kill you. You deserve to die after what you did." And Jotaro says, "What year is this? Tell me." What? And then he gets shot in the head multiple times. And what I mean by multiple times, I mean 10 times in the head to make sure Jotaro died. And Jotaro then wakes up again. And he says, what is this? And he sees another version of himself. And it's the older version of himself. And I couldn't get the one with his white jacket. So sorry about that. And he says, this really does suck. Why does she have to be so annoying? And he's saying, what the? He tries to touch this Jotaro, but this Jotaro just phases right through. And he then sees another person. And he sees Koichi. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you guys should know about Koichi. Koichi is basically from part 4. And Koichi says, like, he found Giorno Giovanna. And he says, what is this? What is going on? He's going through the original timeline, but it's unthinkable because he dies in every single one. And he says, why do I have this white jacket? And who's this Giorno Giovanna? And he sees a picture of him with a Joestar on his back of his neck. And he says, and future Jotaro says, this is Dio's son. And Jotaro is like, what the? How? How does he have a son? That doesn't make any sense. And Jotaro also says, this is an alternate Jojo too. He says he has 4 of them. We need to defeat all 4 of them, but maybe we can at least allow them to join us, so we can defeat that Pucci. And yeah, this Jotaro is a lot different. This is part 5 Jotaro. He knows about Pucci. And Jotaro says, Pucci, was he that white that stand that attacked me with that gun? Maybe that's why other Jotaro couldn't defeat him. Maybe because he knew my stand ability and he can take away stand abilities. This is what Jotaro is thinking. And then he tries to get out of the place, but both Koichi and Star Platinum's Acts 3 comes out, and Star Platinum comes out and then attacks Jotaro. And Jotaro can't fight both of them, so he tries to run away, but the window won't open. And Star Platinum breaks his legs. Yeah, and he says, "What the? Why are Star Platinum doing this to me?" And Koichi says, this isn't. Koichi doesn't see what's going on. They're just basically talking, and they don't see other younger Jotaro. Younger Jotaro is in there. And he says, "This is Act 3. My gravity will make you hold in place." And Jotaro's legs the one that Star Platinum broke, it's starting to bend in a weird way because of the gravity has increased. And Jotaro's saying, "Whoever you are, I really don't like you." And he says, "Star Platinum, get over here and protect me." And Star Platinum says, "No, you're not mine." And he then punches Jotaro in the face and starts ordering him. Yeah, I feel bad for this Jotaro, man. He keeps getting older in the face, and Star Platinum doesn't stop until he basically beats him to death. And Jotaro couldn't get out of that because Koichi's gravity thing, his gravity Act 3 was in place so Jotaro couldn't move. And yeah, so basically Star Platinum beat him to death. Yeah, I know, it's pretty dark. And Jotaro says, I'll get out of this place. I gotta figure out how to get out of this place. And he sees he's now back where his old home was, back when before part 3. And he sees Abdul and oh my goodness, Kakyomi and Joseph Joestar with him. And he says, "Guys, I'm being attacked. I need you guys to help me." And they see this, and they see Jotaro, and they're like, "Why are you outside? And why are you acting so panicky?" And panicky is not a word. Why did I say that? I should have said, "Why are you panicking, Jotaro?" That's what they would probably say. And he says, "I keep getting attacked by Star Platinum and these other versions of myself. Please help me." And other Jotaro walks out and he says, "How about you fix it all by yourself then? Fix these unbreakable futures. These unthinkable." And yeah, everyone starts to chime in. "How about you fix it, Jotaro? Fix it. I thought you're supposed to be all powerful and mighty." And all of their faces start to turn into Dio's faces. And they say, "Jotaro, you can't defeat me. You lost to me, Jotaro. I've become over heaven. I got my requiem." This is what Dio is saying to him. He's making, this is what Jotaro is now seeing. He's seeing all Dios. He sees everyone that he knows is now turned into Dio's head. And, Dio, Joseph, Joestar. Yeah, that sounds weird how I said it. Then walks over to him and says, "How about you fix it? You can't fix it, idiot." And Jotaro then tries to punch Dio, but Dio stops time, and Jotaro doesn't have a stand to even fight back, and yeah, he gets his arm broken, and he says, "I want to get out of this place. Why can I not fight?" And Jotaro says, "Oh, that's it. I know what to do." And Jotaro says, he calls on Subaru, and he says, "Subaru, help me." And all the Dios start laughing at Jotaro, and he says, "I'm not asking for help. I was thinking too blindly. I said I could do this by myself. I see what these trials are trying to make me do. The past wanted me to comfort. The past wanted me just to accept that they were dead, Abdul and Iggy and Kakyomi. I accepted that, but I was gonna close off my heart and just be able to and just fight for only myself, and just to protect them from the shadow, the people I care for now. I can't do that. I need help from everyone. I need help from Subaru. Everyone." And Dio starts to melt, and he says, "What? Why am I melting?" And Jotaro then says, "I don't need Star Platinum. All I need is to fight for something I believe." Yeah, I know this sounds like this actually sounds like Jotaro's become the shonen protagonist trope. But Jotaro stands up and he actually lands a punch on this Dio, and he breaks through a brick wall, and he says, "I don't need Star Platinum. I need everyone's strength." And he starts punching the wall, and after 10 minutes his hands were all bloody, but he could see something through this wall. And he says, "Yes, this is what I want." And he, with one last punch, Star Platinum returns to him, and he punches straight through the wall. And Jotaro then goes straight through it, and he's like, "What is this abyss?" And he looks around, and it's nothing but black. And he says, "What is this?" And he walks he keeps walking, and he says, "Is this a part of the second trial?" And the person in that room says, "No, it's the third trial." And he tries to say, "Third trial, huh? The future." And he looks around and he doesn't see anything. All he sees is the earth from a distance, and it looks like it's being reset. That's all he sees. And he says, why is the Earth going in a backwards rotation? And he then looks and sees everyone. And he says, you need to protect the future. You need to fight for Subaru and everyone. You need to protect everyone. You need us to protect you. These are what all the words people are saying to him. All of his friends. Yeah, basically everyone. Just imagine everyone Jotaro knows from all the other timelines. But they are all speaking to him. And he says, I will fight. And he keeps walking towards the world being reset. And his body starts to get attacked again. But he keeps getting back up. All of the stands started attacking him, but he keeps walking. And he walks and grabs the earth, and he says, Star Platinum. Hormone. And he uses Star Platinum with Hormone. And he gets out of the last trial. He says, he wakes up and he sees Amelia is starting to wake up too. And she says, I made it past it. And Jotaro says, good. I made it past my trials too. I'm surprised you were able to even do this. I was expecting you to give up. And yeah, Amelia then walks out and she says, she was about to say something, but Jotaro says, no, you need to tell everyone about the trials. I need to go and find something. About what Subaru said earlier. About Ekidona. I think she's around here somewhere. I think we must destroy her body or something. And Amelia then tags along and she says, we can talk about that later. We can find that Ekidona's body. And Roswell was like right at the entrance and he tries to run in, but Subaru starts waking up again. And yeah, he's basically in Ekidona's, like, he's basically greed now. And yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But he's not gonna attack people because you'll see. And Jotaro then finds Ekidona's body, and Amelia is there too, and they see it. And Amelia says, Ekidona was being rude to me, but I still respect her in a way because she brought peace and harmony to this place. And that's what I want to do for the rest of the kingdom. And Jotaro says, I met her one time too. What do you mean she was rude to you? She kept calling me the witch or something. And Jotaro says, maybe because you're an elf. Maybe that's why. She didn't seem too bad to when I met her. But she did make me have to talk a lot. And Amelia then explains to him all about her past. And Jotaro says, maybe if I can maybe use Harmon to break out of that ice for you. And you can still become the queen. I'll still help you with that. And Amelia says, if it's possible, then we should go right away. And she says, and but she then changes her mind because she says, you have to do this by yourself then. And Jotaro says, sure, I will. I'll go back to your home village and do it by myself. I'll maybe bring Subaru along with me if he wakes up. And Jotaro then explains what he saw. He says, I saw the world resetting in my future. So, was it different from yours? Oh my goodness. And Amelia also explains her future too, but it's different. She sees Subaru trying to fight out of this cycle. And that's what she tells Jotaro. And Jotaro was leaving again for the last time. That's all she remembers. And she also does see a globe of the world being reset too. But she doesn't know what that means. And Jotaro says, like I said it means, the world's going to reset from the beginning. I don't know by who, but it's maybe the witch cultists. That's what I'm thinking. And they also have stand users, maybe. And Amelia said stand users. And Jotaro then explains again, because I don't remember if Jotaro explained his power. He says, they can use the same abilities as me. They're invisible spirits, you could say. And she says, yeah, that could be very bad. And Jotaro says, especially, I think that person could take away abilities. And he took away my ability in the unthinkable future. So he might be very dangerous. And then Subaru starts yelling, and he says, "Amelia, where are you?" And Amelia then goes quiet in this because since you'll see what I mean. Amelia goes quiet, and she then shuts up her mouth. And Jotaro says, "Why are you being quiet? It's just Subaru. He's finally waking up, and he's not being wild." He tries to go outside to see this Subaru. Okay, guys. The video got edited. Like something happened with the edit. This was supposed to go halfway through the 30-minute mark, but it didn't pop up. So anyway, so basically, Jotaro comes outside and he sees this Subaru, and Subaru says he heard the whole conversation. Let's get going. And Jotaro then says, "Are you sure you want to get going? You just got up." And he says, "We don't have time to waste." And he turns away from Jotaro and starts to laugh. And he says, "She's always been quiet, so she'll be alright." And Jotaro's like, "Who's been quiet? You mean Amelia?" And Jotaro's like, "She just got quiet. She just defeated the trials. What did you do? What did you do?" And Subaru looked at him weird, and he says, "I'll explain on the way when we go there." And Otto has to come with, and he's very everyone's memories have been changed, and he's a little bit afraid of Subaru, but not to the point where he's like gonna tremble in fear. But they know each other a little bit better. And Otto says, "Come on, Subaru, let's go." And Jotaro, you keep watch, and while we go there. And Roswell and everyone else waves goodbye, and Garfield is looking very angry, and he says, "Don't come back." And Jotaro's like, "What's wrong with that kid?" And he says, "What is going on here?" And Jotaro doesn't know what's going on. And Jotaro, for the last part of it, he thinks this has to do something with the kitten, which it does. Which, if I ever make another part to this, you guys will figure out what's happening with that Subaru, or Greed Subaru, came to play. You'll see for the next part when I make this. I don't know when I'm going to make it. Maybe, I don't know. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to. I'm already reached my goal. I'm already happy. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Peace out, guys. You got this will be coming out probably on the 30th or the 31st because it's like 11:30 at night when I'm making this because I kind of got distracted by a couple of things. So anyway, peace out, guys. Bye.